Welcome back to the Gun Collective. My name is John Patton. If you own a gun, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The other day, Oregon-based knife maker Benchmade kind of stepped in it. Sparked by a social media post about helping a local PD destroy some guns, the gun community went digging and found that they had been donating to several anti-gun politicians for an extended period of time. If you want the full story, check the description for the link to that video. Fast forward a couple days, and the pitchforks and fires have only diminished slightly, it seems, partially because the same website that revealed Benchmade's donations also revealed substantial donations from companies like EOTech and Surefire and potentially more. Now, please understand those donations do matter, but I don't want TGC to degrade into sort of a political witch hunt channel, so I'll get to those stories later. The important thing today is that in my previous video, I offered Benchmade a chance to respond, and well, they did. It's important for me to be fair about this. I was able to talk directly to their head of marketing as well as a rep from their PR company separately. Some companies may have hidden from an opportunity like that, but they stepped up. I suppose the next question is, what did they say? Well, to start off, the biggest topic of our conversation was the political donations, but they wanted to talk about the gun destruction as well. Benchmade Director of Marketing Matt Elliott said this. An image was taken of the gun destruction on Wednesday and posted to the Oregon City PD's Facebook page with zero context as to why. The response was serious and negative, and we understand why. Seeing such strong response from the market, this is no longer something that we will engage with the local PD in. That said, they still have our full support. He also said we are very community-oriented and supportive of law enforcement as well. When they reached out to us, we agreed to help them cut the firearms into smaller parts. This has been something we'd done on rare occasion a few times over the past few years to assist them. The few guns they brought had been court-ordered to be destroyed due to crimes, family members of the deceased that asked the guns to be destroyed, etc. It is and was our understanding that the Oregon City Police Department first mission is always to get the guns back in the hands of their owners. That's pretty much exactly what most of us believe was taking place when all this happened, and that response sounds fair. I don't necessarily agree with the way this was handled, but it's a fair explanation of what happened. But as I'm sure most of you will agree, the biggest issue at hand was the political donations to some politicians that were strongly anti-gun. So Matt talked about that a bit. With regards to the questions around Benchmade's contributions to politicians on the Democrat side, there are a few factors. Number one, Oregon is a blue state. This means that we almost always have Democrats representing us in the legislature. We are a manufacturing company making all of our knives in Oregon. We need to support candidates that go to bat for manufacturing, state and local jobs, education for manufacturing, knife making, etc. Number two, all of those Democratic candidates are helping to support our bipartisan effort around the Interstate Transportation Act, a piece of legislation we've been spearheading for about 5 years now that will grant all Americans the freedom to transport knives across state lines that have different regulations than others, much like the protection provided to guns. Unfortunately, that bill failed in the House, even though it passed in the Senate last year. We're looking forward to reintroducing in 2019. The transportation legislation he referenced here essentially says that in order to transport a knife across state lines, it needs to be locked up, similar to interstate safe passage laws in regards to guns. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on knife laws, but moving the chains forward on them doesn't really seem to be a bad thing. However, if the cost of gaining knife laws is the loss of firearms-based rights, I'm not okay with that result. Matt's point about being sort of stuck with anti-gun politicians in Oregon does make sense to me. It sucks, and I hate it, but I understand it. The question remains, at what point do you stop financially supporting a local politician that is positive on the cores of your business and totally against the Second Amendment? Matt continued with, we are a knife manufacturing company and supporting people's freedoms to carry is extremely meaningful to us. We focus our energy on tackling legislation around knives, and sometimes that doesn't line up perfectly with pro-gun candidates. Sometimes it does. We work hard at this and have made some incredible progress with the American Knife and Tool Institute over the past 5+ years. On a broader scale, we are a part of the industry at large. We've supported pro-gun organizations in many ways, and to the tune of millions of dollars over the last 30 years, and we will continue to do so. The $33,000 provided to support the ITA pales in comparison. So basically, the way I interpret that is that over the last 30 years, they've thrown millions of dollars at pro-gun legislation, and that the $33,000 that they've put towards knife stuff recently doesn't really compare. Unfortunately, I have no real way to confirm how much money they've thrown at pro-gun stuff. There's just no way to tell. The next point is one that Matt stressed as one of the most important things that he would like the TGC audience to hear. What many people don't know is that knife laws in the United States are serious, and Benchmade has been leading the change to break down these barriers to carry rights. 10 years ago, it was only legal to carry automatic knives in 3 states. Today, it's well over half. There were and are still states where the punishments are quite severe with regards to knives. It is our charge to help drive awareness and legislation around this, and we have to reach across the aisle to accomplish this. My question in response to that statement is, do we have to use money to reach across the aisle? Should the question of donating to anti-gunners ever be a possibility, even when it's not the core of your business? Benchmade also released a response video from CEO/founder Les Diasis. When I spoke to Matt, he told me that they were going to do this, and I said, yes, this is a great idea. Start a conversation with the audience and own the mistakes. However, on my way to the office this morning to write this video, I was informed that the comments on the YouTube version of the video were turned off. I was told that this was done in an effort to drive people to Facebook and Instagram, but this, to me, is bad for a couple reasons. First, it shows a lack of understanding that each individual platform has its own voice, and people will want to comment on the platform that they are on. It also shows a lack of perspective of how this would appear to be silencing people. I don't know if it was my comments to Matt about this not looking good that got this to happen, but the comments are turned back on as of the filming of this video. The response video as a whole, in my eyes, was sort of a nothing burger. The thing that I took away from it was that it was very similar to the first written statement that I kind of described as a nothing response. We support our local community, we support the Second Amendment, and that we're focused on making knives. That was the gist of it. I was really hoping for some direct responses to the things that were being called into question, but that's not what we got. I guess the long and short of it is that Benchmade says they spent money with politicians locally because that's the hand they were dealt, and the other folks out of state got funding because of their efforts to push forward knife rights. However, the biggest question I have is, at what cost? Are we trading knife rights for gun rights? I certainly don't think Benchmade was trying to align themselves with anti-gunners. They've been on our side for decades, and we shouldn't really forget about that, but is this a case of working with the enemy, and could it hurt us on gun rights? Beyond that, does their response absolve them from the hatred being thrown at them from the gun community? Or is their dumpster still on fire and sailing down Crap Creek? I will leave that up to you guys at home. I want to hear your thoughts about this response from them. Sound off in the comments below, and let's talk about it. My goal with sharing this information with you guys is to present the information and let you guys decide how you feel about it, not tell you how to feel. And that's what I want to know. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, consider supporting us over on patreon.com/The Gun Collective, and be sure to get subscribed. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.